Okay, kitties. Unfortunately, I lost my connection and it ended the stream long before I was over. And so we don't have a very good class for you today, but we're going to go ahead and continue. And I'm going to see how long that I'm going to go ahead and continue for you. These kinds of things happen, especially if I get on late, but I got on late. Unfortunately, I had to get on late today because I got up later than I should have, apparently, because I wasn't ready to get online when I should have been. But we're all okay with that. Right now, what I want to do is I want to pick up where we just left off just a few minutes ago and see if I can't collect all the things so that you can learn something today. Now, what I have for you today is a whole bunch of new worksheets that I'm going to give you. And what I started to say before we got cut off was that I'm going to be teaching you things, and what you want to do is you want to take the time to review them. So for example, we learned our alphabet already, right? And I've given you a whole bunch of worksheets to work on your alphabet. So to learn your alphabet, to write your alphabet, your capital letters for your alphabet, your small letters for your alphabet. So learning all of those things. But it doesn't mean you've learned them, does it? It doesn't mean, because that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work for you. So it doesn't mean that you learned how to write your small A's and your capital A's and all of that. It doesn't mean that you learned how to do that. I know I ended up deleting my day that I shouldn't have deleted because I had all of those worksheets in there. But so if you remember, I gave you this worksheet and there were all the months of the year. And for this worksheet, you were supposed to take 60 seconds, have somebody help you with it, and put 1 minute on a stopwatch, which is 60 seconds, right? So you put 60 seconds and you see how many of those letters you can name. Now here, we don't have to go over our alphabet again and again and again. But you do. But you need to go over your alphabet again and again and again, okay? Because that's how you learn. But for these classes, if we did that, why would you come back? Especially if you already learned your alphabet. So for the classes, we're going to just keep going. But for you probably have to spend a lot more time practicing what we're learning, okay? All right, so what are we learning today? Well, here's our checklist. And on our checklist, what does it say? On our checklist, what we're learning today is we are learning sight words, and diphthongs. Okay, what are those? All right, we're going to start with sight words. Sight words are, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about those diphthongs and what I'm going to say because I didn't even write down that definition for you. Sight words are words that you need to learn by just seeing them. All right. Now that probably didn't explain that very well for you, but there are words that are difficult to spell by just sounding them out. Even the word cat can be a little difficult, right? Cat. You have to remember that cat begins with a C and not a K, right? K, because that's the sound that a K makes, right? So you have to remember that cat begins with a, and we called it a hard C, didn't we? So you have to remember that cat begins with the C. So that in some ways is like a sight word. You have to remember how to spell it, not all by sounding it out, although that helps. Cat, right? Cat. It helps. It helps to know that the C is a hard C, so we know it sounds like a K. But some words are more difficult to sound out than other words. So we have to remember what the word is by looking at it, not always by sounding words out. And sometimes some people say that that's what makes the English language a little bit more difficult, because there's a lot of words that we have to remember by just looking at it, by sight, by our sight is what we're saying. Okay? So some words we have to remember simply by looking at them. And that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesdays now for a little while, is we're going to be learning words that we have to remember by sight. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting ready to start doing spelling tests. It's very important for us to be able to communicate, to tell other people our ideas. It's very, very important for us to be able to tell other people our ideas. And if we can't tell other people our ideas using proper language, using proper English, people don't listen to us, right? Imagine if we were reading these books, and these books sometimes spoke in English and sometimes spoke in Spanish and sometimes spoke in French and sometimes spoke in German. We wouldn't be able to understand those books, right? We wouldn't understand, and we wouldn't be able to learn from those books. And so what do we need to do in order for us to be able to communicate? In order for us to be able to talk to one another, what do we need to do? We need to be able to know how to say and speak in our own language. And nobody's going to be listening to us if we have all of our words spelled incorrectly. They're going to say, this person doesn't know what they're talking about if they don't know how to spell Lake Bogoria correctly. I'm not going to listen to anything a person has to say about Lake Bogoria in Kenya if they don't even know how to spell it right. So that's what we're doing. We're learning how to sound out words, and we are learning how to memorize some words, remember some words just when we see them. Okay? Just kind of like our alphabet. Our alphabet, we have to remember it just by seeing it. But we do have some other things to help us, don't we? Like songs, like our alphabet song. We got cut off from our alphabet song from the video. I don't know why the video stopped going. Let's see if it's still going too. It is. It's still going, but it's saying that it's not receiving a lot of stream, and I'm dropping frames. This is not a good morning, is it? It's okay. I'm fine. Are you fine? I hope so. Okay, let's keep going. So, we have lots of things, lots of worksheets. I have lots of worksheets for us to start going through now on Wednesdays so that we can understand our blends. Now, what are diphthongs? Diphthongs are when two letters are blended together. Sometimes, often they're vowels, but they could be a vowel and a consonant too, okay? Where they blend them together and they have their own sound, okay? Now, we've talked about this before when we were talking about blending consonants last Wednesday, right? Do you remember that? When we were talking about blending consonants, we said that some consonants have their own sounds, right? So they have, I should have looked at that. So we have consonant blends, that worksheets that you had before, like, for example, for frog, right? Frog. Or we said tree. Those had two consonants together, if you remember, two consonants. And so if we have two consonants together, we put those sounds together and they make a little bit different sound, like SH, right? SH goes S, sounds like a snake, S, S, and H is, we don't have S, S, ha, S, ha, S, ha. No, it's sh. SH is sh, sh, right? All right, so we, S says S, H says, but when we put them together, it says sh, like shut the door. Shut the door, right? So now we are blending with vowels. We are blending with vowels. Sometimes we're blending two vowels together. Sometimes we're blending a vowel and a consonant together, like an R, A-R, E-R, I-R, O-R, and U-R. So every vowel pairs with an R, and when we blend them together, we get a new sound. Let's look at that a little bit more, okay? Here we have words with the AR sound. And the AR sound together, now remember, a short A would be A, and R says R, A-er, 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 right? A-er. No, when we blend AR together, it's the sound like we hear in that first word, which is car, car. So AR makes the R sound. Sounds like R, just exactly like the letter R. Could you believe that? AR sounds just like the letter R. So we have to remember when we see AR, that says R, okay? And now we've got a lot of words there that we're learning by sight, This helps us remember over and over and over again what the AR sound sounds like. So let's read those words, all right? And now you've got a whole bunch of words that we're going to learn how to spell, because now we're going to start setting you up for spelling tests as well, okay? All right, let's go. Now we know our alphabet, we know our consonants, we know our vowels, we know our consonant sounds, we know our long vowel sounds, we know our short vowel sounds, and we know consonant blends. And now we know diphthongs. Diphthongs are blends that use vowels in them, okay? All right, let's read those words. In the first word, that sound is a hard C. It's a hard C. So that's going to sound like a K, right? Car. Let's go to the next one. F. Remember the AR says R. Arm. Farm. See how we farm. Those last three letters go together really fast, don't they? We don't even have to blend them. Arm. When we say that AR sound, R, and put that M on the end, arm. Now we know how to spell arm too, don't we? Arm. Put the F, arm, and we blend it, farm. Okay? All right. The next one is hard. That one is hard because we have to remember that word by our sight, because it is the word heart. That word is heart, and it has A-R-T on the end. A-R says what? R. T says t. Art on the end. A-R-T, art. Now we know how to spell art as well, right? Art. But the H-E could say he art, but it doesn't. This is a word we have to memorize by sight. How do you spell heart? Heart. It sounds like H-A-R-T. But we have to remember it has an E in there. And you could see sometimes the rules get kind of funny sometimes, don't they? Because we said when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. But not in the word heart. It's not he art, right? It's not he art. So that vowel, actually, you can't hear the E in H-E C-A-R-T. You can't hear that E. That's a sight word. We have to remember it by looking at it. So we have to remember it, look at it over and over again. How do you spell heart? H-E-A-R-T. That's a sight word. We can't sound it out. Car, we can. We can sound that out. Farm, we for sure can. Car, we can if somebody says that's a hard K or a hard C. A hard C, that sounds like a K, right? Then I could sound out the first word there, C-A-R. A hard C sounds like a K, car. I could sound that out. But heart, I can't. I can't sound it out because I would be going he-art. I don't know what that is. And A is supposed to be silent, but we know A-R makes the A not silent because it sounds like R. Hopefully this isn't getting confusing for you. But if we keep moving on to the next one and sound those out, we'll start remembering more and more. A-R says R. All right, so let's put a B in front of A-R. A-R says R. Actually, we're going to go down. We're going to go down instead of across now. We're going to go down. A-R, so add the B in front of it. B-R. B-R. Bar. Bar. We set the bar pretty high here in the classroom. Maybe not. I couldn't even say that very clearly, so maybe not. Let's do the next one. A-R says R. Put an F in front of it. What is that word? A-R says R. What is that word? R. Far. How do we spell far? F-A-R. Far. Now we're adding a sound on the end. So we have the A-R in the middle. So R is in the middle. ARP with the P on the end. Sometimes I like taking the end of the word first. I just like doing that. So it doesn't matter how you sound it out. If you sound it out from the first letter to the last letter, or if you take different chunks in it, right? Because sometimes we have words that have more than one stop in it. Well, we can spell that. We can take any part of a word that we can understand and try and sound out, right? That's a good idea because then we could start hearing it. And if we start hearing it, we might know what that word is, even if we heard only part of it. Okay, so ARP on the end. ARP, put an H in front of it. ARP. 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 HARP. Harp. We still have to blend it. It's hard for us to know what that word is just by going ha-arp, ha-arp, ha-arp. Remember, I said we could go faster and faster and faster. But blending is a little different. When you blend, you get just a little bit different sound. It's not arp, harp, harp, harp. It's harp. Blending, you get just a little bit different sound. You get a word is what you get when you blend. What's the next word? It's a hard C. What does a hard C sound like? It sounds like a K, right? Were you telling me that? Did I go too fast and give you the answer when you were trying to give me the answer? So, hard C. K, k. Ard. Ard. That one's easy, isn't it? That one's easy. Card. 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 Do you see how we sound words out? This is how we learn how to read and how to spell as well. Because again, when we communicate, we want to make sure that we are showing people we know what we're talking about by spelling correctly. All right, we did farm. Let's do the next one. Y says yeah, 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 like in yell. All right, Y says yeah, yeah. And then we have the AR, ard, ard, yard, 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 yard. Now remember what we're learning here. We're learning the AR sound. This is the AR family, a whole bunch of words with the AR sound. So every time we see AR, we don't go error, right? air, firm, firm. No. R. We know AR says R. So, yard. Did we do that one? Yard. Did we finish that one? Yard. 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 Maybe we did. Now the next one has a consonant blend. So see how why I started going down was because the words are getting a little bit harder now. Now we have a consonant blend in the beginning. ST and then AR, but that's an easy word because AR says R and ST says what? That's a consonant blend. We did that last Wednesday. That's a consonant blend. So what is that? I'm looking at my days over here. Okay, that's a consonant blend. And so what does ST say? R, star. Notice it's not star. It's star, right? We blend those together. So we're not doing a stop when we blend. We don't stop. We don't stop with the S and then the T. ST comes together with one sound. R, star. SC is a consonant blend too. Two consonants together. Sk. That's a hard C. Scar. A scar. I have a scar on my hand when I was very little, and I ended up getting a burn on that hand. So a scar. We did heart. The next one has the same consonant blend as scar. So SC, arf, scarf. I wear colorful scarves all the time. I have a colorful scarf on. Colorful scarves. That's more than one, right? Uh-oh, that's a whole different sound. Let's move on. So we have another consonant blend, and at the end we have ART. We know what ART says. Art. AR says R. Art. Smart. You're pretty smart if you can learn all of these AR words. Okay, let's do the next one. This has a little bit different sound. So again, we have to remember how this works. Because AR says R, but that word WARD is ward. Let's skip that. We're skipping that one. Put an X in that one. We barely ever use that word. Let's put an X in that one. Sometimes we have harder words than we need to learn. That's ward. Like I need to ward off my enemies. It's a sight word. You have to memorize that because that does not say R. Otherwise it would be ward. That's not a ward. It's not a word. Okay, the next one. That one's pretty easy because we've done arc before. No, we haven't. We haven't done arc, but it's pretty easy. Arc. Put an M in front of it. It would be what? Mark. Okay, let's move on. We got down one worksheet. Now this is the ER family. The ER family. And the ER family says So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read the top three. The first one is easy. ER family says If you put a H in front of it, what do you have? Her. Now you can go down that first column now and hopefully sound those words out yourself. The second one is a hard, is that a hard G? That's a soft G. A soft G sounds like a J. Soft G sounds like a J. A hard G sounds like G, G. Okay? So a soft G sounds like a J. So let's do that one. ER says what? ER says what? ER says So AR says R. ER says That is a soft G, which sounds like a J. Germ. 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 Okay? All right. We're set. I said we're going across it. So now do the next three. ER says and see if you could sound those out. All right? We're going to go through these again next Wednesday. Back at the top there. The next one at the top, SPIDER. So we can start at the end of that word with the ER. We know that says Let's put a D in front of that. That's it. It's already blended for you. You don't have to do anything else. Right? Now we have a consonant blend at the beginning. SP. That's two consonants together. SP, a consonant blend. Sp. And that's a long I. What does a long I say? I. So let's put it together. We've got DER, because ER says DER, SPI, long I is what? Sp-I. Do you know what that word is? Spider. And that word has two stops in it. Spider. So you could learn how to spell the first part of the word, the first stop, spy, S-P-I. I can hear every letter. Spy, S-P-I, I know E-R says so spider. Now I can sound that word out. Why is it a sight word? We're going to find out why those are sight words in a minute. All right? Spider. And then the next one, two vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. That E on the end is silent. That's a silent E on the end. So basically, what do we have? We have N-E-R-V. ERV says what? ER says V on the end, put an N in front of it, nerve. The nerve of you not knowing how to spell nerve. That could be how you use that word, nerve, right? Or all of my nerves are going off when I do this. Probably they're not all going off. Nerves are inside of our body. It's how we feel things, right? Our spinal column in our back goes out to the rest of our body, and those are all of our nerves. Okay, so what I want you to try and do is see if you can't sound out the rest of the words in those columns. So I gave you the top words. See if you can't sound out the rest of the words in those three columns. Okay? All right. We're going to keep going. Now, these are the reasons why these are sight words. Because do you know what IR says? IR says as well. So ER says and IR says as well. So that gets confusing. That's the reason why ER and IR words are sight words. We have to learn how to spell sir. That's the first word there. Is it spelled S-E-R or is it spelled S-I-R? I can hear the but is it E-R or I-R? Sir. Sir. So we have to remember those E-R or I-R words. Let's go across the top. So we have sir. That was easy. If we know IR, now we could see what these words are. And now it's easy to pronounce. It's just hard to remember how to spell it right. Is it ER or IR? What's the second word? The top word, the first word in the second column. IR says We have a T on the end. Ert. Now we're going to put a D in front of it. Dirt. The third word there, the top of the third column there, we have another consonant blend. Two consonants together. SM. Sm. I know, it's kind of funny sometimes when we say it like that, isn't it? IR says and the K on the end, we could do the irk, smirk. What's a smirk? A small smile. That's a smirk. A small smile. What does small begin with? Small smile. Same thing smile begins with. A consonant blend. The same consonant blend is smirk. A small smile is a smirk. A small smile is a smirk. All of those begin with consonant blend SM. A small smile is a smirk. 3 words, not all the words. Okay, see if you can sound out the rest of those words there. Okay? Sound. IR makes the sound. You can see we have more consonant blends. The second word in the first column has the TH on the end. And the second word in the second column has a TH consonant blend in the beginning. There's also a blend on the Q word, but that is a diphthong. It's a blend with a vowel. I think that's called a diphthong even there now. QU, always if you have a Q, it's in the English language, it's always followed by a U. All the time. Qu. What's that word? Quirk. That's kind of quirky. That's a quirk you have. Right? Kind of something that's unique for you. A quirk. Okay, see if you can't sound out the rest of those letters. I have got to plug in. And the rest of those words, because those letters make words is what they do. So see if you can't sound out the rest of those words that we have there. I'm plugging in my computer here because it's gonna, hold on 1 second. Drop you guys off again. We already got cut off 1 time. OR. OR makes the OR sound. Or. So if we take a look at those first 3 top words there, what do we have? Orc. Pork. OR is one of the easiest. We call a murmur diphthong. It has an R in it. I don't know why they call it a murmur diphthong, but when you've got a vowel and an R, it's a murmur diphthong. ORs are pretty easy. Those are the easiest, I thought. OR, because nothing else sounds like OR. UR doesn't, IR doesn't, ER doesn't, and AR doesn't. So it's easier. AR's easier too because nothing else sounds like it either. ER and IR sound a lot alike. They sound exactly alike, in fact. Not even just a lot alike. They both say But we're not there. OR. Everyone, let's say OR. Or. This or that. How do we spell or? This or that. OR. Or. That's the sound. Okay? Top word in the second column has a consonant blend, ST. We know OR says or. We have an M consonant M on the end. Orm, 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 storm, storm. There's a storm a brewing on the horizon. Storm, storm. And then the last word, top of the third column there, we also have a consonant blend, SC, sk, sk, sk. Scorn, scorn. ORN is orn. What if I put a C in front of ORN? Orn. And the C was a hard C. What would I spell? So I have ORN, orn. I have a hard C. Sounds like a K. Corn, corn. Do you know how to spell corn? From the word scorn, I bet you do. So, OR family, what does OR say? OR says or. Across the top, pork, storm, scorn. Okay? All right. Those words should be easy for you. So OR words, not so much sight words. Not always sight words. Those could be sounded out if you know that OR says or. Those are words that you could sound out. Most of those are pretty easy for spelling, the OR. ER, not as easy. OR, pretty easy. OR words are pretty easy to sound out. UR also sounds like a little bit like IR and ER. It's same thing, So ER, IR, and UR all say So those words are sight words, and we have to learn how to spell them. We have to learn if it is a word that has an ER in it, if it's a word that has an IR in it, or if it's a word that has a UR in it, because they're all going to sound alike. So now you know what sight words are. That's what we're learning right now. We are learning sight words. We are learning words, how to spell words just by looking at them. We have to memorize them. Okay? So the first three words across the top there, we're going to work on. So UR says and when we put an F in front of it, fur. That's like the fur on my dog, the fur on my pet, the fur on animals, right? Or a fur coat. There's also a fir tree, which sounds the same, exactly the same, fir tree, but that one's spelled F-I-R. Okay, so we have to remember, if it's a fir tree, it's F-I-R. If it's a fur coat, it's F-U-R. Sight words. Sight words we have to remember. Okay? Across the top there, and then you see if you can't sound out the rest of the words because you know UR says All right, so top word, second column. Put an H in front of it. Hurt. See how we're sounding words out? Look at the last word there, the top of the third column. It has got a consonant blend at the beginning and the same consonant blend at the end. CH. Now, it wouldn't be k. No, this has a different sound. CH is not sh, nor is it k. Okay? It's ch. CH is ch. Like, I need to chew on that for a while. There, chew means think about it. Ch. So we have a ch sound at the beginning, a ch sound at the end, and an sound in the middle. Ch, 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 church. Look at that. You just learned a word with a consonant blend in the beginning and in the end, and those are the same consonant blends. Do you see how we're learning to read? Do you see how we're learning to read? And at the same time, we're learning to spell as well. That rhymes. We're learning to spell as well. Okay, that's all we have time for today because I got on late, but I ran really long for you. So hopefully that made that up. But it probably didn't make it up. And I'll tell you why it didn't make it up. Because we had that blippo over there in our ABC song. So we're going to end this with our ABC song. Let's get that up there. No, that's not it. I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. Okay. I don't even know how much of that song you ended up getting because for some reason the volume was off. I don't even know. We've just got a whole bunch of gremlins working here today. That's all I know. But I'm out of here because I got to start my next class in 3 minutes. So our next class, stay tuned for the Bookless classroom. I will be here back in about 3 minutes. Shh, don't say anything.